Good evening, all of you. I have started with optimum population concept from demography. Demographic syllabus also talks about social well-being. It talks about quality of life, population as social capital. Then I have got other heads in the syllabus, that is HDI tables, and also measures of economic growth in economic geography. Why it is important for me to understand that we need to integrate them. I'll try to prove that one by one. इसमें आपको थोड़ा सा you have to actually work to develop out the content. Like for example, think about I'm writing answer on demographic transition. I'm writing answer on age sex cohort. I'm writing answer on migration. I'm writing answer on population theory. I've got so many things that I actually will be scavenging out to decide this is the thing I'll write, this is the thing I'll not write. But now we are with the topic where you have to build up the content. And in order to build up the content, you have to take the integration that is there between these concepts of our syllabus. I'll try to be as organized as possible so that something very defined comes in our hand. I'll be in the position of handling HDI also, limitations of HDI, physical quality of life, social well-being, how is related, and what are the different measures of economic development written in our syllabus of economic geography. And interestingly, not written in our syllabus, but all of us can easily understand anything and everything that is coming up in the planning, global Indian, will never be complete without sustainable development goals. आप खुद से सोच के देखो हम इसको कहां से कहां जोड़ रहे हैं. अगर मुझसे एग्जामिनर पूछता है what is optimum population, whether it is Cannon, whether it is Saunders, whether it is Boulding, when I say optimum population, I take it as a point which helps me to understand what is over and under population. It's a very theoretical concept that is based on two assumptions, that let population grow, but the proportion or the share of working age population to the total population will remain same. And second assumption is let population grow, but the capital stock, the technological level or the natural resource base of the given country will remain same. पढ़ लिया, concept तो समझ में आ गया. Supposedly it's a 20 marker question. How will I attempt it? How will I correlate it with the different components? That is what we are trying. When I talk about optimum population, what exactly we take into account? Optimum population is related to the work of three different scholars, and each one of them have tried to give us something different as optimum. So maximum welfare of Carl Saunders, maximum return to the labor, Cannon, and Boulding, which says maximum levels of living standard. We all can understand that all these expressions are quite relative terms. I cannot identify to be absolute term. They are quite relative expressions. Absolutely related to Edwin Cannon, because you can see it is GDP share per capita or income per capita, because he talked about maximum return to the labor. If optimum population is that point where population level at which the highest economic standard of living is achieved, the available resources are exploited effectively, and thus we have an added here, maximum return to the labor. This helps us, optimum population helps us in distinguishing between overpopulation and underpopulation. How do I define underpopulation? Increases in the population level allow more effective exploitation of resources available. This is the point till I reach optimum population, where population is less, human resource base is less, thus there is not the fullest exploitation of it. And as I change over to this level, beyond optimum, population is continuously growing, but what scenario develops? Overpopulation, increases in the population level past the optimum point results in lower standard of living, resources are shared among more people, and economic standard per capita decline. अब बिल्कुल clear हो गया concept. Concept is done. Now we want to take the evaluation of the concept. Where do I correlate optimum population? Optimum population can be associated with concept of well-being, inclusive development, health and longevity, environmental sustainability. That is the reason this concept actually relates to measures of economic development that essentially includes quality of life that combines with well-being. ये सारे टॉपिक्स हैं हमारे सिलेबस एंड ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट विच कैन बी रिलेटेड टू सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स. ये पेज हमारा बेस पेज रहेगा, हम इसमें बार बार आएंगे टू अंडरस्टैंड. ये वाला पार्ट हो गया, अब हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. However, limitations of the concepts are of this concept propounded by different scholars is also very high. What? Empirical evidence of optimum is not found. It is a vague concept. It completely ignores distributional aspects of growth. If I say I have reached optimum, it's a vague concept. I have reached optimum. Is it actually giving me that what exactly is the level of distribution of growth benefits? It doesn't give me that and is impossible to measure. ध्यान से देखेंगे. Because of these limitations, we justify the validity of optimum population in applying its utility in the measures of economic development that involves these practically defined approaches in the global पर. ध्यान से इस पूरे पेज को देखो और समझने की कोशिश करो हम कैसे डेविएट कर रहे हैं. What is optimum population? Optimum which goes with maximum welfare, maximum levels of living, or we take up the reference of maximum output to the labor. Is it not very vague? It is certainly not possible for us to measure what is meant by maximum. And this definition of optimum population is actually very difficult for us to practically find on the map. So limitation is there, but the scope of the concept is it helps me to understand what is well-being, because if it is optimum, it will be more favorably well-being. Environmental sustainability, because if you'll not sustain the things, then it will be declining output that you will be having. This is how we interrelate optimum population with many more concepts of ourselves. I'll maintain this page as our base page, so I go back to my whiteboard because we need to take the overlap of the content building and that overlap is very significant. Okay? अब क्या कर रहे हैं हम इसको रिमूव कर. I'll be showing some of the important diagrams because with diagrams it becomes easier for you to visualize and identify. Measures of growth. Economic growth, that is increase in total value of goods and services reduced in an economic sector. Economic development, इसी को हम enlarge करेंगे फिर, is increase in human welfare status, satisfaction of needs and wants, socio-economic condition, and it also relates to sustainable development. Though the term is always counted to be different in the developmental measure, but if I say sustainable development comes up with certain important terms, what is that? It should be inclusive, it should be diversified, it should be decentralized, and it should be environment friendly. Because when I'm saying that we are developing, we as planners, we as implementers of the planning, we as monitoring the implemented plan is aiming at attaining sustainable development. So will it not be targeting inclusion? Will it not be targeting welfare? Will it not be targeting minimizing the economic vulnerability? Yes, no. So which among the three? Of course, ideally, what are the measures of development? Measures of development incorporate three: growth, development, and sustainable development. Development and sustainable development can be clubbed. Ignores distributional aspect, matlab agar aap keh rahe ho optimum population is when we have attained optimum level of living. So isn't it that Adanis and Ambanis have attained optimum growth of living in India? So if I take that sample and identify, India makes example of an optimum population, isn't it? What is the problem that we have? It doesn't give me scope to talk about distribution. If it is with parity that we have reached optimum, then it is truly the optimum. But if it is with a limited sample population, then that is not called development. Comfortable all of us? Proceeding further. Key terms. यहाँ पर content building बहुत बड़ा challenge है, इसलिए I'm purposefully attempting every term written in front of us in our registers so that when I read, I can easily make up the compatibility. Back to my whiteboard. So what we are doing actually, we have taken that economic growth can be distinguished from economic development or sustainable development. We are believing that economic development and sustainable development can be applied to be synonymic. What is the difference that I see between economic growth and development? So ये मेरा economic growth का column है, ये economic development का column है. ध्यान से with every point as concept, ठीक है? Economic growth is much narrower concept, whereas economic development is more comprehensive as it combines growth with standards of living. Second point of difference, scope of these two, economic growth and development. When I compare scope, it is single dimensional. And what is single dimensional? I have already written it, so I don't want to write it, but I want all of us to see. Single dimensional, it is total value of goods and services produced in the economic setup. It's only about a single dimension. And what about development? It is multi-dimensional. Third point of comparison. Answer organized banta hai isse. Otherwise, बहुत fragmented type of answer gets created for such topic. Term. If I talk about economic growth, we refer it as short term, as it is defined for certain period of time. However, when I take the reference of the big verses in between, however, when I take the reference of economic development, I say it is a long-term process, as it denotes continuous leapfrog process of development. Whatever I attained in the first phase of development will try to build over on this and will try to make up the anomalies corrected. So it's a leapfrog, no spiral, back to back kind of thing. I continue with my comparison, changing color purposefully so that all the facts comes clear. In terms of nature of measurement, I again identify growth and development to be different from each other. Growth is more quantitative. Growth rate of economy will be touching 2-digit very soon, and it is now at, and during COVID time, it also got into the negative territory. It's quantitative. And when it comes on to economic development, it actually can be both quantitative and qualitative. And finally, if I take the reference of related to, economic growth is more related to developed world, and economic development is more related to developing world. I'll be wrong if I say that developed world have all parity, but developed world have better parity than developing world. I'll not believe that you are not aware of these, but certainly you have not been made aware of it in such organized norm. Am I correct in believing? Am I correct in believing so? हम सबको पता है कि हम इसको इस तरह से डिवाइड कर सकते हैं, बट इसको इस तरह से ऑर्गेनाइज करें तो आंसर क्वालिटी इंप्रूव होगी. It is therefore cautious. It is therefore that measures of economic development, not growth, involves quality of life with well-being and human development. Actually, there is nothing wrong for me to apply. Quality of life goes with physical quality of life index. Physical quality of life index. And this goes with HDI, human development. It is therefore that economic development takes me to quality of life and HDI. Are you noticing that if I just read it from any standard textbook of human geography, I'll find 20, 30, maximum 40 words. Examiner gives me right answer in as 20 marker question. मतलब मुझे 250 से 300 words लिखने हैं, मेरे पास तो content ही नहीं है. If I try to integrate it like this, I'll have 2000 words which I have to shrink to 200 words. And automatically remember always, make sense with the statement that I'm making now. Make sense with the statement I'm making now. You are writing an answer in perspective 1. Perspective 1, you know that I can write 5 points in this answer, but I have decided to write 1 point in details because I know that this 1 point is more important than other 4 points. This is perspective 1. Perspective 2, I know that point 1 is more important and rest of the 4 points are not that important. but I have given due representation to all the 5 points. Point perspective 1 point written, rest all the points compromised. 1 point exclusively defined. Perspective 2, written all the 5 points by default, then you have to divide the time and the space with the due importance. Minded perspective 2 will fetch you better marks than 1. Because more you give examiner the creation of dimensions, more you are proving the comprehensive understanding that you have developed for the concept. What we are learning? We are learning optimum population. Optimum population from the study of demography. Optimum population have favorable scope for we human geographers, and it helps us to understand inclusion, and it helps us to understand well-being, as it helps us to understand economic development. We took deviation from there. Economic development is one of the 3 measures of growth identified in world. One is called economic growth, that is quantitative. 2 is called economic development, that is quantitative and qualitative. And 3 is called sustainable development, which is actually with inclusion and parity along with environmental conservation strategies. As soon as I try to compare them, I say economic development is more in compatibility to sustainable development. And economic development have got 2 defined globally applied measures. Which are these 2 globally applied measures? Measures are physical quality of life index, which relates to quality of life, क्योंकि quality of life and well-being हमारे syllabus में लिखा हुआ है. And second, human development index. Quality of life and well-being concept develop कर रहे हैं, but पहले हम इसको quality of life as physical quality of life index से associate कर रहे हैं, तो इसको हम highlight कर रहे हैं, because index compared with index makes much clearer sense. Then we'll try to overlap the things. तो ध्यान से देखेंगे. The physical quality of life index was developed by economist called Morris David in 1979. The first beginning is traced in the late 70s. It involves 3 indicators. It involves 3 indicators. Which are these 3 indicators? The 3 indicators includes life expectancy rate, infant mortality rate, and basic literacy rate. Life expectancy rate. Let me write a single line definition for it. Life expectancy rate or index means average number of years a person is expected to live. Infant mortality index again is where the number of infants dying within 1 year, so 0 to 1 year, excuse me, within 1 year of their birth. And what is basic literacy rate? इसको demographic data table में हम effective literacy rate भी बोलते हैं. Indian census, it is called effective literacy rate. Basic literacy rate या basic literacy index, because we are trying to relate it to the physical quality of life index. So basic literacy index is any person above the age of 7 having ability to, I'm straightforward writing ability to read, write and understand. HDI is also based on 3 indicators. Which are they? Number 1, decent standard of living. Number 2, long and healthy life. Number 3, knowledge. ध्यान से देखिए, long and healthy life do incorporate life expectancy at birth. Noticing it, class? क्योंकि ये कौन सा इंडेक्स है? Number 2. The number 2 that I have marked is actually which index? It is life expectancy index. So is it overlapping with physical quality of life index? वैसे ही देखो, knowledge is with education index, where we are having mean years of schooling and expected years of schooling. Can I say it also equals with physical quality of life index? What makes the things different is a decent living standard that has been applied in human development. फिजिकल क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ इंडेक्स में यहीं पर ही हमने इन्फेंट मोर्टालिटी रेट को भी अप्लाई कर। These three indicators relates to life expectancy. It relates to the general knowledge of general levels of knowledge. So I'm just writing knowledge here, which talks about mean year of schooling and etc. And it is physical quality life index versus human development index. Both are the measures of economic development. We have understood that economic development cannot be aloof of economic growth, HDI. But the question arises, is quality of life well understood and depicted as to be equal to physical quality of life? Can I take quality of life to be synonym to physical quality of life? Answer is no. Physical quality life index is one of the indicator that I identify with quality of life. ध्यान से देखो, quality of life incorporate 5 elements or components: physical status and functional ability, social interaction, economical and or vocational status and factors. There is a reason why I'm breaching the sequence, along with psychological status and well-being, and religious or spiritual state. I'm giving you time to copy it down. Once you have copied it down, you will give me a hand. I'm zooming up here. Physical quality of life index is not equal to quality of life, as quality of life is more comprehensive measure, and physical quality of life index is essentially demographic index. If you have agreed, please raise your hand. Shabash. In order to make sense with this comprehensive nature of quality of life is more comprehensive concept, as it marks up its association with both well-being and social capital. Well-being makes a broad concept. लिखते जाओ सारे पॉइंट मेरे साथ, नहीं तो ये पॉइंट्स दोबारा याद आने बहुत मुश्किल होंगे. Well-being is a very broad concept that includes of being, becoming and belonging. जैसे ही belonging लिखते हैं, social capital से इसका association हो जाता है. It involves material well-being, spiritual well-being and societal well-being. That thus is divided into key terms हैं ये. इसके बाद आप मुझे help करोगे. That are thus divided in material and non-material. Well-being is what I am of being, what I wish, aspire to be of becoming and belonging. जैसे आप belonging की बात करते हैं, then you relate it to the society. That is the reason this concept relates to material, spiritual and societal well-being. And it is therefore that we identify it. I want to highlight it. This is the most important thing. Material and non-material fact. लिख लिया तो मुझे पहले hand raise करके बताओ. लिख लिया? अब हम इस डायग्राम पर दोबारा से आ जाए. हम अपने बेस डायग्राम पे दोबारा से आ जाए. हमने लिखा क्वालिटी ऑफ लाइफ के 5 एलिमेंट्स. These elements have been numbered and is very easily self-depicting kind of components that are there. So I can understand that these are the 5 components which is related. Quality of life essentially relates to well-being. Well-being is incorporating material and non-material factors. Do I sound convinced that psychological status and well-being and religious or spiritual status will be the example of non-material well-being? Hand raise करिए class. समझ में आ रहा है? And if I go with the others, which are they? Physical status and functional ability, social interaction and economic or other vocational status. It is material component. हो गया relation quality of life और well-being का? Have you understood the relation between the two? And even here we cannot stop. We can add many more things altogether. So let me just slightly zoom it up here. I want to write something more about well-being as the concept. Let me use black color because black color gives you more clarity of writing. Well-being in any dimension of being, becoming, belonging, well-being as material well-being, spiritual well-being, societal well-being as material or non-material factor, all of them. Well-being is the thought that gives people a sense of how life is going on, true, important, interaction between their circumstances, their activities, and their psychological or mental capital. Very important. Higher levels of well-being. Let me write level and then well-being. Higher levels of well-being always equals higher resilience, that is capacity to respond. Resilience is an ecological term basically. Resilience largely involves the factor which is related to my capacity to respond. If I'm more resilient, I'll be in a better position of responding to anything that is not that much favorable. Quality of life has got a defined index called physical quality of life index. Physical quality of life index is a demographic index, which gives me the understanding that life expectancy low, infant mortality high is equal to what? Physical quality of life is not good. And human development index is also talking about demographic variable. If I take the reference of basic literacy in physical quality life index and I take up the knowledge in HDI, I'm taking up similarity. Similarly, if I take up life expectancy at birth with the HDI table and I take it up with physical quality of life, I see they are overlapping. But in place of infant mortality, because HDI talks about levels of living, decent levels of living, HDI gives me more comprehensive measurement of development than physical quality of life index. HDI we have not explored much. We have started exploring quality of life. So the next step that we took was, is physical quality of life index and quality of life synonym? Answer is no. Quality of life is actually related to 5 components. These 5 components is applied with material and non-material aspects that absolutely relate to well-being and social capital. Well-being is actually the thought process that individuals or group of individuals possess, as in where their life is going, how they are leading their life. It involves, well-being involves material well-being, societal well-being, and spiritual well-being. Because well-being is about being, becoming, and belonging. As I take the spiritual well-being, I get ready association with non-material. And as I take the reference of material components, so what I'm possessing, what is my occupation, these are the components that we take up with quality of life. Quality of life thus proves to be not just much broader component than physical quality of life index. Quality of life takes us to the concept of well-being and also to social capital. Social capital relates to quality of life in social interaction. Social capital by itself is a big, broad concept. It actually is related to the grouping of an individual. How individuals with common identity or common approach works together to fulfill common objective. Their goal is similar. They are working together. Their perception is similar. Capital, social capital, that is something that belongs to, that relates to belonging, or that is something which relates to social interaction. I'm repeating, from social well-being, it is belonging, and from quality of life, it is social interaction. That is how the social capital relates to both of them. What is social capital? Social capital incorporates sociological origin, and which relates to bond, bridge, and link. What is bond? The bond is the link that I have with my absolute near dear one, my family, my extended family. What is bridge? Bridge is where we don't see the genetic relation, but we have got the link which is identified with a common sense of belongingness and living, my friends, my associates. And what is link? Linkages is identified as extended social capital. We all are part and parcel of a societal setup. So we are related to each other in the societal ladder up and down. And that link between us is linkages of the social capital. We geographers have taken all these three components of social capital from sociology and have added one more dimension to it. So we believe in four types of social capital: bond, bridge, link, and identify. What is identify? Identify is identified to be, or identify can be defined to be sense of belongingness, sense of bonding, sense of bridging, in spite of complete absence of any physical or defined parameter of links. This is largely based on perception. This is largely based on mindset, that this individual or this group of individual with whom I don't have any economic, any societal, any cultural link seems to be much more near dear to me compared to the other group. That is based on perception. Yes, you can identify nationalism as a very good example of identify. It's perception. You believe that you are similar, though you are not similar on any parameter. Any cultural identity, you are not similar, but you find that you are similar. So it's perception based. Social capital have got positive dimension to it because it makes people work together to attain common objective and automatically fulfillment of the task in much swifter manner. Mahatma Gandhi Narega, very good example. Gram Sabhas in our country have excellently mobilized social capital towards the growth of rural development, making people work for the common objective. Excellent example of social capital positive. But social capital can have a detrimental dimension. When there is a social links, it can have a negative aspect to the overall society when it is something that is related to unrest, when it is something that is related to divisive ideology. It tends to create more fragile kind of thing. It is both positive and negative. Yes, separatist ideology, terrorism, Maoism, unrest, political affiliations. I call it, and it's very typical geopolitical term. It's called contentious political policies, which marks divide, because when you divide, it is going to give me the quick economic or political gain. It can be induced by political, that you are different from others. Your religion is more superior than other. You are more stronger race than other. Anything. You are economically more stronger than other. So sort of divisive grouping that we have. Because, I have just quoted example of Mahatma Gandhi Narega. There has been the imprint, there has been the examples where Mahatma Gandhi Narega have further created. Of course, at one end, it has bridged the societal gap, but at the other end, it has enlarged the societal gap. Because in order to avoid any sort of conflict of interest, purposefully, because in India, like country, we have a very grave societal divide at the village level. In urban areas, we don't identify societal and caste category. Urban areas, the levels of living determines who will be your friend and who will be your neighbors. But in rural areas, it is still based on societal norms. So in order to avoid any conflict and in order to facilitate serving of Mahatma Gandhi Narega's objective, it is that purposefully we have been grouping the people of the similar community together to work. So at one end, it is giving me a positive edge, but at the other end, it is creating more wider societal gap. Sounds logical? So social grouping can have a negative dimension. Bye-bye, class.